Welcome to the second video of Drum Tuition, Basic Drums for Beginners. And in the first video we just went through very basic how to count from 1 to 4. So we're going to take that 4 count and apply it to the drum kit. If you haven't got a drum kit, don't worry, get some pans or pots and things laid out the same sort of way. All the principles apply. I'm going to talk you through the kit and how to make a very basic rhythm. The rhythm we're going to go through is it's called a 4/4 time, 4 beats per bar. It applies to 90% of rock music, and you'll hear it on everything from Green Day through to just about every other thing. If you can play a 4/4 rhythm on the drum kit in time, then you'll be able to understand and play and join in with the bulk of music out there. So this is the drum kit, and first of all, how do you hold your sticks? Well, you hold your stick here between your finger and thumb, with the stick just coming out here by your wrist. When you play the drums, you're not using your arm, you're using your wrist. You flick it with your wrist and your stick is actually bouncing between your first finger and thumb, and then you can get a nice speed and a nice feel to it. Same with the left hand, same thing applies. That's how you play, but you play with your wrists, not your arms. It's only Animal that plays with his arms. This is how you play the drums. So the kit, basic kit, it's called a 5-shell kit. It has 5 shells in it. It has some cymbals. I'll explain these as we go. So very quick introduction. This over here is called the hi-hat. It's 2 cymbals squashed together. I have a pedal here that I can raise, and I can use different effects with it. For now, we're going to keep the cymbals together. They are 14-inch cymbals, Zildjians I'm using. And when you keep time, if you're right-handed, you're going to take your right hand, and that's going to be on here, keeping time for you. So that's how you're going to play it. That's the hi-hats. Come to that in a second. This is the snare drum. This gives a very nice sharp crack, and it helps you keep the pace and gives emphasis to the timing of the music as well. Now, it's called a snare drum because it's a normal drum, and if you play it without the snare on it, it sounds like a normal drum. If I apply the snare, which is a wire frame across the bottom head of the drum, it gives a very sharp, nice crack to it. And that's what you see when you hear military bands and marching bands. They have these snare drums when they're doing the very fast roll. So snare drum, if you've got a drum kit, don't be afraid to hit it, don't tickle it, hit it like quite hard. Don't go mad, but nice hard, give a good emphasis to it. And for what we're going to be doing now, you're going to be hitting the snare drum with your left hand. Hit it in the middle, just here. Using the wrist, nice and bouncy, just. When you finish playing, you lift the stick off the drum, don't leave it on there. It does that, nice and crisp. Snare drum. Then the tom-toms. So we have tom 1, 2, 3, and bass drum. So the bass drums are a foot pedal down here, and these are tuned to be in a declining tone, if you like. We'll do the Phil Collins thing later on. But use these for fills and add a bit of sparkle to your playing as well. Don't worry about those for now. We're going to come on to those later on. This is called a crash cymbal. Now for this one, you hit it on the side here. You make a nice crash. Now normally you hit the crash with something else. Typically the bass drum or the snare drum to give a nice emphasis to it. We'll come on to that. But that is your crash cymbal. And this one over here is called a ride cymbal. And you'll see this used a lot in all music, but specifically in jazz, where rather than hitting it on the rim, which is here, you use it here on the crown. So nice and gentle, nice and delicate. It gives an alternative to the hi-hat. So you play that open with your right hand. Okay, that's the drum kit, basic drum kit. And now we're going to go back to this count of 4. So if you're right-handed, your count of 4, you're going to play that out on the hi-hat. So take your stick, your weapon, and hold the stick so you're tapping on top of the cymbal. Not like that. Not yet. For now, just tap it on top. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Nice and straightforward. Then you can keep it going. Do it in patterns. Now if you're going to do, say, a pattern of 4, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. And that completes a rhythm for you. So Just do that. So it's just getting that rhythm, nice and steady, nice pace. A lot of drummers, when they start out, their timing is all over the place, and it sounds like this. You want a nice, that's not right by the way, a nice steady pattern. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get used to doing that, and that's the basic start point of your rhythm for you. So nice and straightforward, quite easy. Now, what we're going to do now is bring in the bass drum and the snare drum. And this is a basic rock rhythm that every band uses, you'll recognise it. And if you can do this, you're sort of halfway there pretty much. So what we're going to do is bring in the bass drum on the number 1. And then we're going to bring the snare drum in on number 3. Now it sounds quite complicated, but when you hear it, it sounds a lot easier than when I explain it. So let's just bring the bass drum in first on the first. So with the hi-hat is 1, you bring the bass drum on 1 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first strike, 1 on the bass drum. Now they're giving the snare on what is the third strike, the third beat if you like. So how that sounds is this. Got it? So it's 1 and 3. And that's all you do. Now if you can play that, that's a very basic rhythm. It gets that coordination between your hand and your foot. This is going one speed, this is going another speed, and this is coming in a different time. That's quite complicated to start off with. If you can get that rhythm going and you can speed it up a little bit, then you've got a rhythm. Now it sounds like something that you recognise. You can add fills and accents to it, we'll come on to that later on. But for now, just practice the 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass comes in on the first beat and the snare with your left hand comes in on the third. Just that for now, and then we'll build it up and show you some of the tricks as we go along. That'll come in video 3. So I hope that was helpful. Have fun, practice, drop me some notes, and I'll see you next time round. Bye for now.